This place is so overrated, man.
It's not great. Naruto Bosch, not from the anime.
Kakashi, you at home, if you're listening to this, debating on whether or not you're going to go to the Tokyo Skytree, do not go. Hello and welcome back to the Deskwarmers podcast. My name is Matthew.
And I'm Ike.
And today, we have yet another exciting, exhilarating tier list for you.
I loved our tier list last time. The fast foods, I mean, so much nostalgia, but also I wanted to go back to so many of them.
I know. It made me so hungry. I didn't eat anything. I think I went down after doing that and had like 5 slices of toast.
That is a little depressing, but...
Well, yeah, it's not sushi, Ike. Certainly.
I was thinking more on the terms of Samurai Mac, but...
Oh, true. Yeah.
But
can't get that
today's tier list is a little different. Not food, but places.
Places that we think are a little overrated.
Yes. So we pulled together some of the most popular or advertised tourist attractions from throughout Japan. Mm-hmm. And all of these, either Matthew, myself, or both of us have been to.
Yes. So we're looking at very popular places, but we also threw in there some hidden gems. Okay. So not all of them are explicitly advertised a lot. So you might want to stick around for some deep cuts.
Yeah, some of these were just our favorite places we visited. Maybe a little more, rural than where you're typically going to get from Tokyo. Mm-hmm. But hey, we included those as well. So
they're underrated, are they not?
I would agree.
It fits the bill. Let's jump right into it. Our first one, Ike, can you tell me what this is?
Tokyo Skytree.
Yes.
So for the audio listeners especially, we've structured the tier list going from overrated to underrated. And in the middle, we have under overrated, we have it's fine, and we have pretty good, so like average. We have deserved, which means definitely, you should go. It deserves its spot as a famous attraction. And then we have underrated, so some of those more like hidden gems that we would really suggest you might have to go out of your way to get there, but it's probably worth it. Mm-hmm. So first up, Tokyo Skytree. Matthew,
Skytree.
What was your experience here?
Well, I've had many experiences at the Skytree. It's essentially a large mall with a giant tower on top of it. Now, the mall part is pretty decent. They've got a lot of character goods stores. There's Japanese clothing brands and a Harry Potter store, Pokemon store, things like that. That part of it's really cool. The tower itself is kind of bad.
Yes. I had a similar experience because, MSAS, right? Many situations are similar.
Yeah.
My experience with Tokyo Skytree was largely the same. The shopping mall's cool. You might even get lost. There's a lot of cool places to visit. We decided to pay the extra, 1,000 yen, 2,000 yen to go to the top. You take a big elevator, wait in a long line.
I want to say it's more expensive than that.
Was it?
I think it was like 4,000 yen.
Oh gosh. Okay, that makes it even worse.
That's just what I remember.
Yeah, I do recall. You might be right because I think we were really debating if it was going to be worth it to go to the top. And I do remember reaching the top floor, popping out of the elevator, and I was greeted not with a scene of Tokyo, but solid white, Matthew.
Yeah.
Because it was a cloudy day.
So sad.
And the entire Skytree was enveloped.
Mm-hmm.
There was nothing. I couldn't see anything.
Complete waste of money.
Yes. I think they probably told us we shouldn't as well, but we decided to go and...
Okay, to your point, there are people at the bottom with signs that are like, hey, visibility is really low today.
Yes.
So they will tell you.
Just using, eyesight as well, just the sensory of vision that we've been gifted. We could probably tell from the bottom that it was not going to be great from the top.
If you can't see the top, if you're at the top, you probably can't see the bottom.
So, I can understand some of the appeal, but then again, it was fine, right? It was fine.
I agree with you, Ike. I think it is just fine because
Yeah.
it's like one of the most popular attractions to go to in Tokyo, but it's also a little far away. Like it's on the other side of the river, and you gotta take train there or whatever. You can get to it pretty easily. You can see it from the bottom, and I think a lot of the value of going to the Skytree is not inside the top of the Skytree itself, but rather from the bottom and looking up.
Yeah.
Plus, oh my gosh, I can't. I don't even have this on this tier list. It's such a hidden gem. But guys, you at home, if you're listening to this, debating on whether or not you're going to go to the Tokyo Skytree, do not go. Instead, go to the Tokyo Municipal Building, the Tokyo Government Building. There are 2 towers that jet up from the bottom, from the sky, into the sky. It's not as tall as the Skytree, but it's free. And there's live music up there, a cafe, all run by the Tokyo government, and you can see just as much as the Skytree. So
That sounds pretty appealing to me.
For that
I
reason,
never did that, but
for that reason, I want to put Tokyo Skytree in overrated.
I'm hesitant to agree though, just because I feel like there's so many yet to come that
Sure.
are even worse. So
Sure. Well, okay, we'll go. It's fine, but like I can't understate the value of that Tokyo Metropolitan Building experience. It is so cool. Okay, but let's move on.
yes. What's next, Matthew?
Ooh, I see a lot of glitz and glam, a lot of lights. Like, what is this?
Maybe Akihabara.
Akihabara.
So this is the anime district of Tokyo, I like to call it, where they have a lot of character goods stores, like anime figure stores, a lot of used stuff, a lot of maid cafes. Like, I mean, beyond that too, if you're just into like computer parts, technology, there's a lot of stores of that nature as well. It's a whole shopping district though. But for me at least, I mean, I'm a big into anime and the like. So
Some would call you an otaku, even.
some might
A
refer to
weeb?
me with that terminology. Either way, I could go by either. I will say I did enjoy a lot of the used figure stores
Sure.
because they definitely have the widest selection. I mean, you can't find these at Hard Off.
No.
And it's such just floors, right? Just floors of figures. Like for decently cheap. I wouldn't say the cheapest, but like reasonable prices. So I enjoyed my time in Akihabara. What about you?
So I'm putting it back. Right back here. So, okay, Akihabara isn't what it once was. I think people have the image of a, oh my gosh, anime wonderland, otaku wonderland, electronic Japan wonderland as Akihabara. You might be able to find those places off the beaten path. Awesome used character goods stores, really knowledgeable store clerks who are willing to share their goods with you and also share their knowledge of anime and computers and things like that if you're looking for what you need. If you don't know what you want to do in Akihabara, I think it's really easy to, 1, get lost, and 2, get sucked into some kind of not I don't want to say not stereotypical, but like it's easy to get stuck in with the crowd, okay? And I want to bring up one example. Radio Kaikon is a building that once housed so many different anime goods stores, and like it was all of these different things, and each of them had like a tiny little card shop or like a tiny little anime figure store, or like, here's where you can get a bunch of old games and stuff like that. It's now just like floor by floor, like one store after another. So it lost a little bit of its individuality in this single store.
I can see that. I think every time that I enjoyed it and it was successful, I had a pre-written list of the actual stores I wanted to go into.
Sure.
So I would look up some of the best, figure stores and then just bounce between them. Because you are right. Like, if you don't know what you're looking for, I think that can be challenging. And
definitely.
be careful of following, the maids outside as well, because they'll take you on a journey. I actually did follow one of them once.
Okay.
And it is PG. I went with one of my host brother actually, and him and we wanted to experience a maid cafe. So I had never been.
Sure, this is PG.
It's PG. Don't worry, it's PG. The maid cafes in Japan are where you just sit down, you get served by a girl dressed as a maid. Usually they'll, feed you whatever. But we were looking for that experience, right? We showed up at one. It was like you actually had to have a reservation. It was like a 3-hour wait or something.
Oh.
And so as a backup plan, we went to the closest maid on the street and said, "Hey, we'll go to your shop." And so she walks us through Akihabara, maybe for like 10 plus minutes. I feel like it was a while. We were just walking through and we're like, "Why are you stationed so far away from your shop? This is kind of weird."
Where the customers are.
Yeah, she takes us to this kind of like sketchy back alley or whatever. We go up into her bar, and there might have been one other customer there if we were lucky. But the thing we learned that day is there's actually 2 different things. One is a maid cafe. One is a maid kisa. And the difference is that one is like traditional, serving. The other one is more like a hostess club, except it's like a maid.
Oh no.
So we paid, I think, like for an hour of like basically like speaking to this girl. And we ordered omrice, which is like the omuraisu, which is like the omelet with rice in the middle.
Yeah.
And she just pulled it out of the freezer, threw it in the microwave. And then,
was it made with love?
And then served.
And care?
She drew an animal and ketchup on it.
Oh, that's
like
good.
So that was at least
that's
good.
good.
But I mean, the whole experience was not what I was expecting. I'll say that. So I be wary.
At the end of the day, Akihabara, I think is pretty good.
I would agree. Pretty good.
You would agree? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's still cool. I mean, if you're going to Japan, sugoi anime, and you haven't lived there, if you're going as a tourist, it's really cool to go to. But
yes,
maybe if you've been more surrounded by like animate stores or even secondhand stores like Hard Off, you can kind of get a lot of the stuff at other places for cheaper.
Yes, I would agree.
Let's move on.
What is that next, Matthew? That one there.
This is, I believe, Harajuku.
Oh, another area of Tokyo. Yeah, I think you're right.
Another Juku. Harajuku is fascinating to me. It was once the center of what many people in the West would call like Japanese culture.
Yeah. It was like the hub of fashion and like forefrontmost fashion, I guess.
Yeah. And if you go to it now, you're going to see crowds and crowds of people all eating trendy Korean hot dogs with cheese or giant cotton candy balls or very, very trendy things. And the Sanrio store is there, which if you like Sanrio, I mean, that's where you got to go. I think a lot of things there are really expensive, and it's probably not worth your time.
Yeah, it was very weird for me to walk through there because after hearing like all the background you gave and like basically the street is flooded with tourists, like not as much of Japanese people, I would say. And even the attendant, like the people beckoning you into the shops were all foreigners, which was very strange as well. Like there wasn't a single like Japanese person that I like noticed that was like basically advertising for a store. And the thing too was it felt like the street was very like small, and like it didn't feel special in any way to me. It just felt crowded. Like I didn't get anything out of it. So I would also, I know you put it on the tier list, but I would also give it overrated.
Yeah, I think that's what we're feeling. Maybe if I were to have a special place in my heart for like trendy fashion.
Yeah.
But I don't
Even
really.
then, I don't think it's the best place to see it anymore. Like,
No.
I think you're better off just walking through like Shinjuku or something.
Yeah,
Like,
honestly.
I don't think Harajuku has the most like updated
It's
stuff.
it's not really attracting the people, because like people, you know, there's some people who dress up in kind of interesting fashion and walk around cities in Japan. Sure, like you may have seen this. People like the Lolita style, or like the kind of goth style. You can just see people walking around like that. I don't think that area is attracting that kind of clientele anymore, specifically, more so the people who are looking to see that kind of clientele. So it's kind of a strange area in that sense. For me.
Well said.
Anyway,
Matthew, I'd love to introduce the next one and then quickly pass it off to you.
Okay.
Because the next one is Tokyo Disneyland.
Uh-huh.
And I lived in Chiba for 2 months with a host family when I was in college. And my train station was either 2 or 3 stops away from Tokyo Disney. However, I never went.
oh, dang. Did you
So-
were the crowds of people annoying?
It was just I mean, I'm not a big Disney guy, and I never
Sure.
I just every weekend I was doing other things, I guess. Like I
Fair
never
enough.
particularly wanted to go. So,
Okay. Here's my crazy story about Tokyo Disney.
Yeah.
So I've never been.
what?
I've never been to Tokyo Disney.
I
thought you had.
You okay, well, I mean,
You lived right next to it.
okay. Anyway,
I've heard Tokyo Disney is fine.
yeah.
It's so crowded, though. You know what? It might be even overrated. It is
I
It is
don't think
hot.
we can judge it though. I think we have to put it in as it's fine at the worst.
yeah. Can't judge it, but from what I've heard, pray tell. You know, we want to use our firsthand experiences on these.
Yes. Let's jump right in, yes, to the one below that, actually, Universal Studios, while we're talking about theme parks, because
Yeah.
I believe you haven't been to this one either, right?
Nope.
So I went, though. This one's in Osaka. I did go to Universal Studios, and it was awful. It was so bad.
No.
It was so bad. So every like theme park area, you have to walk really far to get to. And I would sum it up as every area had 2 things. The first was a gift shop that was, you know, whatever the theme was. So whether it was Jurassic Park, Minions, Harry Potter, whatever. And
Mario.
the second thing was everyone had like one ride. And so you would walk like pretty far to each of these different like, you know, parks. I don't know what they call them. And there'd be a gift shop you'd walk through, and then you'd look at the ride and be like, okay, that's kind of cool. And then you'd see the wait time for the ride.
Yeah.
And it's in minutes, but they were usually like 300 minutes.
I don't
it would say.
understand how people can wait that long.
It's like 5 hours or something crazy. Like, okay, maybe like 2 hours. Maybe it's more like 2 hours. But the thing was, Matthew, is I didn't go on a single ride while I was there
my
because
gosh.
every single one of them minimum was 2 hours.
Dude, do you know what that reminds me of? Is in Korea, the Latte World.
Latte World, yeah.
More like Latte of Money World. That's our joke. We spent a lot of money. We didn't, like, we rode on one ride. It was so stupid.
That's how I felt about Universal. Like,
Oh.
Japanese people, I'm convinced, love to line up. And Americans do too. Let's be real. Americans love to line up.
I've heard that about British people as well.
Maybe it's just human nature.
Maybe you like the lines.
Humans love to line up, except I think this line was very overrated. So
Sure. And you didn't even get to go on a ride. So you think it's overrated. I'm willing to bet that it probably is.
I mean, expensive. I didn't buy anything, didn't go on any rides. The Harry Potter was cool.
time.
But
It's cool to walk around. Oh, you're in Hogsmeade or
I got some
or
butter beer.
You got some Goober Snaps and a few Gildenbracks.
Yeah, pretty much.
So you're saying USJ is overrated. I want to pop right over to an underrated theme park.
Oh,
It's Greenland.
Greenland.
Greenland. Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you a little more about it. If you watched our last episode with our interview with Mari Sensei, I talked about how my trip to Greenland was my most memorable day in Japan. I had the most fun that I'd ever had on that side of the world at Greenland. Ike?
Yes.
You were there with me.
I was there, Matthew. It was a very fun experience. I do want to throw this a grain of salt, though.
No salt.
Just
no
because
grains.
it was very fun. I loved my time at Greenland. As an amusement park or as a tourist of Japan, you should not travel there.
Well, I beg to differ, but okay, I'll let you say your piece.
It's a semi-rundown amusement park. There's lots of peeling paint. The rides, most of them fairly small. No lines, very fun.
No lines.
You can go on every ride in the theme park in a few hours. The food.
No lines.
Get yourself a big turkey leg, some churros, stuff like that. It's a fun theme park. Would I say I would recommend going? I think it's the friends that made it so fun, Matthew.
Aw. So you're saying it's deserved.
Well, here's the awkward part because nobody knows about Greenland.
Exactly.
so
it's probably pretty well deserved.
It's kind of like deserved would be like average, and then underrated is like fine, or something.
No. Deserved means it deserves the amount of people that go to it. That's what deserved means in this sense.
Okay, I'd agree.
Okay, yeah. Greenland. Just look it up on Google. Google Greenland and see the pictures. This place is kind of funny.
We do have one more. I was about to say we have one more amusement park. I know we had a lot to this list. Bosch should be.
Oh my gosh,
that one is. It's the park there, second row, right? Oh no, you have it. Okay.
Yeah, it's right here.
Bosch is in Nagasaki. It's a what country is it themed after?
The Netherlands.
The Netherlands.
Yep.
Everything there is like all the buildings are very Netherlands. Dutch. Thank you. Very Dutch, and the rides. I think we did one ride, and it was fine.
The ride was okay. Yeah.
The ride was okay, but the Ferris wheel's cool. They had a huge fireworks.
You don't go for the ride.
The huge gardens, like that was the coolest place to like walk around, though. Even
definitely, I'd say this is underrated.
I would agree because I don't think
really
enough people go to it.
Well, not enough people visit Kyushu anyway.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like it's definitely the biggest like amusement attraction in all of Kyushu. Like you get school trips all the way down from Miyazaki that are going up to House Bosch, and like middle schoolers like running around. It's crazy. Like there are homes that people like condos that people can buy, or maybe they're timeshares or something like that are just Dutch houses, and like people like live there, and it's also a hotel, and it's super funky, but like there's a lot of green space and water space, and there's a giant Dutch tower, and it has one of Japan's only carillon instruments. Any carillonneurs in the chat, please tell me what that is, and you'll get a prize if you know what a carillon is.
I think you taught me what it was. So.
I did teach you what it was,
yeah.
And unfortunately, they took it from its original place and installed it in a side like theater and made it a laser show.
That is depressing.
It is kind of depressing, but
my favorite story from Bosch though is Matthew convinced many people that you were actually in the Netherlands.
Dude, I convinced your mom that we went to the Netherlands.
Oh, I forgot. No.
Yeah, I posted it on Instagram, and I'm like, I think I said hello in Dutch or something. And from like, you can go to the top of this Dutch tower, and it overlooks all of like the canals, and as if it were Amsterdam or some other city like that. And I put like hello in Dutch, and then Ike's mom swiped up. Was like, "Are you guys in Europe?"
That was great. I mean, you can convince people of that, like if based on just the pictures.
If you want to be sneaky, if you want to be a little trickster when you go to Japan, go to House Bosch and make people think you took another trip to Europe. It's fun.
Great place.
Yeah. Do we want to finish off the couple more Tokyo things we have on here?
Sure.
Let's go to the crossing.
Shibuya Crossing.
Yeah.
This was an experience for me. Because I and some of my friends, this was when I was staying abroad, we wanted to go to Shibuya Crossing. We had heard all these stories. I don't know how we managed this, but I believe we got off at the wrong train station or train stop. And you'll know that Shibuya Station is famously like confusing, like very difficult to find which exit you need to go to. There's so many people running around, but we didn't have that experience. We got off. It was very mild. Maybe we were like one station away or something. My friend typed into Google Maps Shibuya Crossing. It was like a 15-minute walk. We were like, okay, great. We start walking. And we're a little confused because we're just like going through some alleys. We get to this Shibuya Crossing, which I have air quotes on here, and it's just like a 4-way traffic stop. Like it's just like a normal intersection. There's not even a light there.
You went to the wrong Shibuya Crossing.
Apparently there's multiple. I don't know how it happened, but we took a very like sad picture of us, and then we walked to the we walked to the real one, and once I got there, I mean, it's cool. I mean,
yeah.
It's big. Like there's a lot of people going through. The block is kind of cool. There's the Hachiko statue with the dog. Yeah. They have a big Starbucks there, like stuff like that. So
I love Hachiko, and I love the story of Hachiko. If you want to see Hachiko, go to the Museum of Natural History in Tokyo, next to the zoo, next to the Ueno Zoo. Hachiko is there. It like stuffed, kind of sad. Yeah. But Hachiko is actually the real Hachiko, rather than the statue, is in a display case in a museum, and you can go and see it, and it doesn't get a fraction of the attention that the one in Shibuya Crossing does. I wanted to take a picture with Hachiko. I couldn't. There was like a line, and it was taking like 16 minutes just to get the line of people to go through to take a picture of the statue of Hachiko. So I got a great picture of Hachiko's butt, and all the people lined up to take pictures with Hachiko. I think it's an even more impactful picture. A little photographer brain speaking. I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I think it's fine.
It's not as much as a tourist attraction as just like a means to your destination.
Yeah, the neighborhood and the stuff around it is actually more interesting than the crossing itself.
Right? I feel like just walking across the street, like it's fine.
Yeah,
but then going around to that area, I did enjoy the area, and the Hachiko statue, I was going to also bring that up, that the line is insane. Yeah. Like the amount of people, and there's groups of people that are lined up to take pictures with it, and
all commercialized, man.
Yeah. So I would say it's fine as well. It's
okay, another one, Ike, that I know you don't know.
Oh yeah.
Is Yasukuni Shrine.
Yeah, now, I didn't know about this until today.
I can't believe that. This is Yasukuni Shrine, is a very controversial shrine dedicated to the Japanese war effort and all the members of the military. There's some pretty controversial things that I don't want to get into, but I will say there's a really cool Japanese war museum a part of this. It has some kind of iffy definitions and explanations for some war-related things that I also won't get into, which was weirdly kind of cool for me. I don't know. I liked looking at it. I liked being like, that's different. It's not exactly underrated in the sense that, like, definitely go to this museum, but it's kind of for just the weird fascination of it. And plus, like, all like the artifacts and like war time, like guns and old submarines and stuff like that, old planes, a train is in there. So it's good for all you transportation lovers. There was also stuff about the, what is it, the Satsuma Rebellion, and like when they attacked Kumamoto Castle. They had a fragment of Kumamoto Castle in the museum, and I'm like, I've been there. So anyway, take that with a grain of salt as well. Yasukuni Shrine.
Okay.
Let's get out of Tokyo, man.
We'll take your word for it. What do we want to dive into next? Let's see. I mean, next on the list.
Oh, dear.
Nara, the land of deer. This place is interesting. I have been there before COVID and after COVID, and there was a difference.
Oh, snap. I've never been.
Really?
Nope, never.
That's crazy. So I guess I'll share my piece of the story. Before COVID, right? Or just any time you go, it doesn't matter a time frame. Nara is like a historical park, except there's a ton of wild deer just like walking around the park, like in this like couple block area. And it's flooded with these people that have little deer crackers that you like, rice crackers that you can buy and then feed the deer. And before COVID, it was all great and good. The deer are known for actually bowing. So if you like hold a cookie up to them or the cracker, they'll actually bow their head to try to get it. They learned this behavior because it got them more crackers. So they'll do it. You can take videos, stuff. It was all right. I would say it's fine. However, my opinion changed the second time I went. This was after COVID. I'm pretty sure during that time frame when no one was going out, when there were no tourists allowed in Japan, these deer were starving.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure the deer went through some psychological change because when I went back, they were mean. I'm talking aggressive, like bite your butt deer. Like, wow. These people, these deer people, they see that you have one of their crackers, they will lower their head and start charging. They will try to bite you for them. They'll attach to your clothes. Like, it was not a pleasant experience. And half of them look like they're like, infected with like some sort of disease or I don't know. Like it was not, and like it just smelled like it was not a good experience for me the second time.
So the temple in Nara that has all the deer, it's like the Nara temple. Where would
the actual temple, I would say, is fine.
Yeah.
The addition of the deer. The addition of the deer. Yeah. The addition of the deer actually made it worse for me, though.
Oh, dang. So where would you put it on the list?
I would have to go overrated because people, and I do know some people do really like Nara. Like I've heard a lot of people that really like Nara, but for me, it's just not the place to have fun.
Oh my gosh, not the place to have fun. Hey, speaking of deer people, did you ever watch that anime with the deer girl, Shika noko 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 tan tan?
Oh, wait, Nichijou? The one where they...
No, not the one where the principal's fighting the deer.
That's
one where
it's
like
one.
The deer girl. That is a great one.
Beastars?
No, not the one where it's the wolf and the rabbit, and it might not be PG.
Okay. I have not seen what you are referring to.
I had this weird experience at a nomikai where I was over at the principal's house, and he just we were talking about Nara, and he's like, "Oh, deer people," and he's like, "Do you know Shika noko 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 tan tan?" And I'm like, "No," and I don't know if that's the name of the show or the theme song that they sing, but he just started singing the theme song, and I'm like, "Okay, principal, Kyoto sensei or Kocho sensei, let's get it."
That's awesome.
Keep going. Okay. Oh, we forgot Mr. Yokohama-san.
Oh, the big Gundam statue.
Yeah. Gundam.
Did you go to that? We went there together. Didn't we?
Never been.
Oh, okay. I've been twice. It's actually decently cool. I would say deserved for this one.
Pretty
actually
deserved.
I mean, it's a huge Gundam statue. So first, that's cool. The experience that really made it deserve for me though is it's like there's a mall right next to it, and me and my friends, we were like there kind of almost like dusk, I'd say. We walk outside to go see the Gundam, and there's like maybe 50 people sitting like around it. We thought it was like some sort of like cult following, or like they're like praying to the Gundam or something.
Yeah.
What really happened was like 5 minutes later, the Gundam show started. And that's when things got exciting because the Gundam starts lighting up, the helmet changes, like its visors coming on and off, it's moving around. In the background, there's like Gundam theme songs, like clips from the anime. Like, that part was cool.
Was there a real like teenager inside?
I don't think there was a person inside.
That would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
Well, let's keep moving
I would say
on
deserved.
here.
Yeah. What would you like to jump to next, Matthew?
Let's go down to ye old Osaka, just because we're hitting big cities here. We got a little Dotonbori. Little Dotonbori. The Dotonbori Bridge with the famous, what is that guy? The guy who's running. He's a runner guy. The name of the brand. The brand name.
Oh, gosh. Oh, no. I don't know. I can't remember.
This is gonna be terrible.
You have to look it up.
I have to look it up.
While you're looking it up, I will jump into my story. I love Dotonbori. First of all, I think Osaka is one of the coolest cities in Japan, even though it does get a lot of tourists as well. I think the food on Dotonbori is amazing. All the street food, the gyoza, the takoyaki, the crab, the yakitori, the skewers, everything. I think the food is amazing. I think the atmosphere is very cool.
Yeah.
I like the signage. I like the bridge. They have a Taco Bell, which then was under renovations when we wanted to go back. But I love Dotonbori personally. Do
you think it's deserved?
See, that's the hard thing, Matthew, about these ones that are really famous already is you can't, like, can you even say underrated? Like, I love Dotonbori, so I would go the highest you can.
The highest you can, so it's in fact underrated. Like more people should go. Like its value exceeds the amount of people that are already.
I don't want to say that because it's like.
Because I feel like Dotonbori and like Osaka, like that's the thing to do in Osaka.
Yeah, so I think you have to say deserved.
I think it's very well deserved. I agree. I agree with you. The Glyco man.
Glyco.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I went there with my mom, and she loved it. We went to some cafes.
I also went with my mom, although she was very jet lagged and couldn't enjoy it as much.
Interesting. Okay, so we're in Osaka, so we gotta go to Osaka Castle, which is this one. Osaka Castle.
So I've been here twice. Neither time I went in though.
Yeah.
It was a very long line to get inside the castle. I think outside the castle was a very nice view. I liked looking at the castle. They have a good amount of like people or just picture spots.
Dude, I think this is the definition of it's fine.
Yeah, I think like if you're in the area you want to go, and I think if you're in Osaka you should go.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's anything super special. Like it's a very cool building. Like it's a very cool looking building, like castle, but it's fine.
If you only have the time to go into one castle, if this is the only example of Japanese castle architecture you're ever going to see, wait in the hour-and-a-half line. Okay.
Yeah, you should
wait in the sometimes 2-hour line in the heat. It's not going to be a fun experience. There are better castles that you can go to, but it's right there, and like it's very well preserved. Just the crowds are so massive. And I went in the dead of summer, and it was one of the hottest days in Osaka in a long time. And I was standing out there. We stood in the line for maybe 15 minutes and then just got out and hung out on the side in the shade. And it was a much better experience. I almost want to put it in overrated, but that's just because I have a bias.
That doesn't do justice to the building, though. I think it's fine is a good place for it.
An incredible, and I think deserved building is Himeji Castle. You have any qualms about that?
Is that the largest castle in Japan?
It is the largest castle in Japan.
Yeah.
It is Japan's most famous castle, and it kind of is the center of tourism for the city of Himeji, which is in Hyogo Prefecture. So not too far from Osaka. If you want to just make a day trip, it's very easy. There's a train station, and the whole town is surrounding the castle, of course. But the castle, it's not just like the main building. You can go into like this separate buildings too. So the whole complex is massive. I think I was there for like 4 hours just walking around.
Wow.
It was awesome. And that's just like the built up castle part and kind of the immediate surrounds. I'm
very excited to go during my honeymoon in November. I will be going to Himeji Castle.
That'll be a great time with the momiji, the oak leaves that are turning.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty well deserved. You should definitely go if you have the chance.
Good to know. Yeah.
And then maybe one that I think is a little underrated is Kumamoto Castle. And not speaking from any biases or anything. Maybe speaking from a few biases. I think it's a good time.
Matthew. I think Kumamoto Castle is cool. First off.
Yeah. Thank you.
Second off, I would not go underrated. I mean, first of all, there's no English inside the castle. So all of the text...
All the more authentic. All the more authentic, Ike.
The text is all Japanese. I think the courtyard being very small as is, and they did have like, it was affected by an earthquake as well. Some of the walls were actually still being renovated.
You get to see preservation in action.
Let me ask you this before we make our decision here. What made it so special for you? Because to me, I would not say underrated. I would say like pretty good range.
Well, I don't know. I've never been inside, so.
No.
So I like the look of it. I like that they're preserving it, and you can get some pretty yummy takoyaki outside the castle. But okay, fine. It's probably just pretty good.
It's pretty good. I mean, it is a cool castle.
I think it. Well, okay. I haven't seen Himeji Castle at night, but the night view of Kumamoto Castle, it's like shining over the city. It's a really cool night view, and like the gardens on the outside are very cool. So I will say that. But the castle itself, I mean, I've never been inside.
I will say the inside is nice because there's no line. You can walk through. You could do it in as fast as 30 minutes if you wanted, but maybe the average is like an hour to an hour 30 to go through it. Especially if you're like reading and looking at all the like different, museum parts and stuff. Yeah. But I think it's a cool experience. But to me, it wasn't anything special. I'll say that. So, I would go pretty good.
I realized we missed a Tokyo spot.
Oh, yeah? Oh
my gosh.
The Tokyo spots are everywhere.
Sensoji Temple and the Kaminarimon Gate. This place is so overrated, man.
It's not great.
Specifically the Kaminarimon Gate. Talk about lines to take pictures. Okay, and then talk about guys with rickshaws coming up and trying to offer you a ride. I'm like, sorry, I don't want to ride on your rickshaw.
I don't understand necessarily the appeal of this place because it's a big bet. I guess it's famous. It's just a famous spot, right? It's just famous.
It's been a night market or just like a day market or some kind of market for a long time, and is leading right up to this Buddhist temple that's at the very back. So you got to walk through the gate and walk down the road past all these vendors who are probably, at one point pretty, authentic vendors. But now you can get like a Spider-Man mask or like a fan that's shaped like Batman or
where is that one at? Again, what city?
In Tokyo. It's the capital of Japan.
Because I'm trying to remember if this was the place where they had like a circus monkey.
What?
No, I don't think it was this one. There was another shrine I went to, and they just had like it kind of looked similar to that, but there was just
was
like
it the monkey shrine in Fukuoka?
No. I don't think so. Anyway, moving on.
Ike, I want to go down here to one that I've never been to.
Okay.
This is some Okinawa stuff, right?
Yeah, because I mean, I've been to Okinawa. I was trying to think of what was the essence of Okinawa, and I mean, beaches are very nice. I guess I shouldn't say it's the essence of Okinawa because it's not. But one thing that is a popular attraction, I'll say, is the American Village, is what they call it, and this is an area of Okinawa where they have like all of the like American fast food or like American like kind of like family restaurants. Like they have like Red Lobster and like steakhouses and like like stuff like that. And it's a very much like maybe like dinner venue where there's not too much around. So I mean, it was just a fun one to put on there. I think it's fine. I wouldn't go any higher than that. I think there's nothing special. It was nice since I had been in Japan for so long to go to
those places.
Like those places or like see them. But yeah,
but like if you're an American tourist going over to Okinawa, would you really want to go to a Red Lobster?
You should not go to the American Village. Yeah.
Okay. American Village. Good enough for me. How about we boot on over to this guy? This guy's near Tokyo, isn't he?
The Daibutsu, the Big Buddha.
Big Buddha. I've never been.
I have been. I don't have strong feelings on it. I think it's pretty good. I think it's fine. I think pretty good is fair for it because it is huge. It's very cool.
From what I know, it's kind of a day trip destination.
Yeah. Now, actually, Matthew, there is. I have seen the biggest Buddha in Japan, and it's not on our list. I don't remember what temple that is off the top of my head.
Isn't that north of Tokyo? In Chiba Prefecture?
It might be, yeah. Let me quickly. No, it is the Daibutsu is what's coming up. Okay, so that one's big.
Is that the same thing that we're talking about right now?
That's what we're talking about right now, yeah. Okay.
But
there's the Todaiji Buddha. No, it's fine. We'll move on. It's fine. It's pretty good. It's cool.
It's pretty good.
Big statue. Big statue. You can walk around. Not too crowded from what I remember.
Good.
Let's move over, Matthew. Let's skip a little bit. I want to talk about Kyoto some because we haven't gone into Kyoto.
Yeah. Hey, what better way to kick it off than Japan's most traveled to tourist spot?
Wow.
The place that gets all the visitors from all over the world and all their little footsteps going in and out of their little red gates. Or should I say big red gates?
I want you to go first for this one. I have strong opinions.
Fushimi Inari Taisha Shrine. Fushimi Inari Shrine is the place in Kyoto or south of Kyoto that is pretty dang fine. I hesitate to say it's overrated, although I really want to, because it gets so many tourists and it's so hot. However, I had a really good experience there where I traversed the tourists. I made it all the way through the crowds of people who were stopping in the middle of the sidewalk to take pictures of the gates from inside, and I made it all the way up to the top of the mountain where there was nobody. Everybody was on, there are these trails of red torii gates that are zigzag up the mountain, and you choose, how far you want to go, where you want to walk, things like that. The first time I went with my family, they didn't want to walk so far. I went with my friends. Another time, we were like, we got to make it to the top. Once we got to the top, there were awesome views and not a lot of people. Ike?
So, I actually love this place.
Really?
I do. This is actually one of my favorite places in Japan, even though there are so many people there. I think I've been 4 times, actually.
Oh, my gosh.
And I think it is the place I've been to the most in Japan, like as far as tourist destinations, because I kept going back. And every single time I went, it was like a magical experience for me. Mm-hmm. Like I had a lot of fun. Like the village or like the road leading up to it's really cool. I think all the torii gates are awesome. I think you can get some really cool pictures as long as you find a spot where there's not a lot of people walking through, which you'll have to walk for a while to get there. I think, like you said, I've been to the top, and that's a really cool hike. There's a lot. There's like some hidden, like almost like towns up there on the way.
Yeah, I know there are.
One way I went off the beaten path. I just walked into the forest. Basically, I got lost, and I was guided to the top by some weird route that I took, and that was awesome. I loved the little shops, the gift shops there. I love the gates. I don't know. For me, I actually really enjoy Fushimi Inari Shrine.
You think it's deserved?
For me, yes.
I'd be willing to compromise with pretty good.
Yeah, I think if you were It's Fine and I'm Deserved, I think we can put in the middle. I do really enjoy that place. I will admit that it does get crowded. One of the other times I went, it actually started to rain and everyone like sprinted out. Like everyone just vanished from the premises, like gone in a heartbeat. And so that was cool that just like got to hang out there.
Or you do the Bethany and Sean strategy and arrive at like 4 a.m. and there's nobody there. So okay, I could see how that would be pretty good in that case.
Yeah, so I really enjoy it, but I know people have different experiences there.
Interesting. So. What else is in Kyoto? Let's go with dealer's choice. This guy. What do you want to say about him, Ike?
I forgot its name.
Kyomizudera?
Oh,
Brother.
Gosh. Okay, that one sucked. That one sucked.
It's a wannabe Fushimi Inari, isn't it?
That one, I could not move. And I mean, that's the thing about so many of these places that we're realized, right? It's like every one of them is just so crowded, which, I mean, you can get around it by going in the morning, like night. Yeah. Like you can have lucky experiences and rain and stuff, but at the end of the day, like everyone is going to these places. I think a lot of them are still worth to go to just because, I mean, that's the landmarks of Japan, right?
Sure. Yeah.
But for me, this place, like it's like a house, an open house you walk through.
Dude, it's a temple.
Yeah, but like it doesn't. I didn't like it. It was.
I think the architecture of the temple is really cool and deserves to be acknowledged. However, I don't think it's kind of a deserve to be as crowded as it is.
Yeah. I think the view was fine.
The view is okay. You can get better views from Monkey Park. Okay. Monkey Mountain.
Park. Okay.
That's another one that I could have put on here. That
maybe we should have put that as underrated.
Monkey Mountain, folks. Monkey Mountain is the place near. I don't know where it is. It's in Kyoto. It's kind of not close to any of these other places. Kind of close to it's close to the bamboo forest. It's just a mountain with monkeys on it, and they kind of roam around, and you feed them. It's kind of cool. Yeah. But Kyomizudera, you're saying
I would say overrated personally. The amount of people that go there.
I think it's fine.
You think it's fine?
Yeah, because I think you need to appreciate the architecture and the area around it is really cool.
I think it does have some cool buildings, like that main building in the picture. Yeah, that was not my favorite part, actually. But there were some other like cool little.
There were some really cool pagodas.
Yeah. Like those were cool. So that's fine. We can do that.
Speaking of bamboo forest, the bamboo forest.
I mean, our list is fairly balanced right now. We don't have a lot in underrated, but this one, this was even worse than Kyomizudera for me.
I agree.
Can I go under or overrated?
It's overrated for this. It's super overrated.
The bamboo isn't even that dense. Like there were so many holes. Like it didn't even feel like anything.
It's kind of like wow, cool bamboo.
Like, I don't understand why this is an attraction at all. Like,
take a step out. Remember the first time you saw bamboo. As people growing up in North America, we don't really get to interact with bamboo. I think it's cool that it is bamboo, and it is kind of like a walking path through a forest of bamboo. However, go to the forest and just go on a hike, and it's kind of the same experience with less crowds, more impactful experience. I think it's
that's how I felt. I mean, I think I even went in the morning when there was like no one there, And even then, I was not mystified in the slightest. Very, very overrated for me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Kinkakuji.
Kinkakuji. This one's cool. I think this one is decent. It's very gold temple. You can get some cool pictures there. You can walk around it. You can't go inside, at least when I was there, but it's cool. I'm leaning towards pretty good for this one, I think. But
I'm between it's fine and pretty good.
Yeah.
It's just okay, if Fushimi Inari Taisha Shrine is the most popular tourist attraction in all of Japan, I believe Kinkakuji might be number 2. And if it isn't number 2, it certainly feels like number 1, because that amount of people is kind of shoveled into like a smaller space, because there's not a lot of room to walk around. I mean, there's sidewalk paths and things like that, but there's not a lot of like wide space. So it feels really cramped, especially around the picture areas when you're trying to take a picture of old Goldie on the lake.
Oddly enough, though, for that one, like, for some reason, I think I've been twice, and I don't recall, like, being super overwhelmed by the crowds at that one specifically.
When did you go?
Once was in summer. And
I went the summer after you left, when it was opening. Japan was opening up to tourism a little more.
Yeah.
And it was near unbearable.
Yeah.
But maybe that's calmed down. It's a cool place. I'm down to put it in pretty good or fine.
I think we go pretty good for this one. Okay. I can't stand it being on the same level as Kyomizudera, so
really
there. Yeah. No others from Kyoto. I mean, we could talk about the cherry blossoms.
We could. Just general cherry blossom viewing. I think that's deserved.
I think cherry blossoms are amazing. I think the only downside is it's very hard to time your visit.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, they have, a general prediction of when they're going to bloom, and they only are blooming for a few days, like maybe like 5 days maximum. And it really is weather dependent too. Like, I remember our second year, I guess, Matthew, your first year, like, it took a while for them to come out.
Yeah, especially down south, where we expected it to come pretty much first.
Like, I know I went on like a weekend trip or something and almost like missed them, basically.
Yeah.
Like, it's very difficult to be at the exact timing where they are, the fullest, but they are very pretty. So I would magical. Also go with, I would go with deserved for those.
Yeah, this is not any specific place. I mean, of course, the picture is a specific place, probably a famous place. But there are a few famous places that you can look up if you want to go see the cherry blossoms. Go in March-ish. But you also, there are yearly maps. I mean, or yearly kind of calendars that track these things, and people are all over this. So there's a ton of information about when the prediction of when they're going to bloom are. It's kind of hard to plan your trip around, but sometimes you just have to be lucky.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go up north to our only Hokkaido place. I would have put more if I had more time.
And this actually isn't necessarily one place, but a timing as well. Ooh, because this is the Yuki Matsuri, or the snow festival, which happens around early February. And the things that happen, so downtown Sapporo, tons of snow sculptures, like huge, like shaped in like anime characters, like Shohei Ohtani's face, like castles, like dinosaurs, like crazy things in both ice and snow.
Eren Yeager,
yeah, you can see Anya. It's great. I think this is underrated, honestly.
Really? Okay.
I think the snow festival is one of the coolest things you can see in Japan. I don't know if that experience is necessarily unique to Japan with all the snow sculptures.
No, there's the Harbin Snow Festival.
Yeah.
There's a few ones in America that you can go to, but this definitely is a touristy thing for Japanese people to go to. So, and in the winter season, like I think it's February 1st, usually first week of February is when it happens. It draws a lot of people from across Japan. but I mean that it's like Sapporo's thing. And I think any chance to get up to Hokkaido, even if it is just to go to Sapporo in the snow festival, is a worthwhile one. I think that place is awesome. I wish I had the chance to go up there more.
We should have added more like Hokkaido and Okinawa, because if you don't have the chance though, those two like prefectures or areas like are pretty awesome to visit. If you can get away from, you know, Tokyo and Osaka and Kyoto, those are definitely some of the better places. What's next, Matthew?
Do you want to boot down to Kyushu for a second? Sure.
Happy to.
So Kyushu, let's see. I'm looking at, oh, whoops. I got confused. I'm looking at that one. I'm looking at that one. And honestly, just those two places.
Is Beppu on there too?
Oh yeah, Beppu is on there.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's start out with Beppu. Beppu is the onsen town that is really more of a hellscape, if you know what I mean. Their sulfur pools and geothermal pools are called hells.
The seven hells.
The seven hells of Beppu. And they're these giant pools that are heated by underground energy. And it is like, it's not like an onsen where you can go and relax in it. If you got in there, you would die. But people go and like to walk around. There are some cooled pools where you can go bathe in the cooled pool.
A lot of onsen like hotels as well, or like ryokan and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
I think it's pretty deserved. I wouldn't say it's underrated.
I would go deserved. I think it's a cool place to travel, very relaxing. I like that the city is like going into the water as well. It's a very sloped town. It's very sloped city.
It's quite slopey.
You can take like the thing that you get up mountains in the machine.
The machine that you use to get up mountains.
Yeah. You go in the belly of the machine and you go up mountains.
In the belly of the machine.
Gondola.
Yeah, let's call it that.
You can go up one of those. That's cool. You can go to.
Yeah.
There's another Monkey Mountain in Beppu.
Monkey Mountain.
A second Monkey Mountain.
Pray tell.
There's so many monkeys. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I think deserved is fine.
Okay, cool. So that's good.
Give us the quick rundown of these next two, Matthew.
Yeah, this is, I think it's called Omura Church. This was the church in Nagasaki, still is the church in Nagasaki that famously stood after the atomic bombing of that city. So when you go to Nagasaki, you will see this church kind of rise. In certain parts of the city, you can see it rise above the city in kind of a cool way. And there's a lot of gardens around it and a museum on the inside and like nearby that talks about the history of Christians in Nagasaki. And I think it is just pretty good.
Yeah. I think you summed it up nicely.
There's not a lot to do. It's some people who are more defensive of Nagasaki will probably say it's very good. Like I'm imagining Paige or Bethany getting mad that we're saying it's only pretty good, especially with Glover Garden being right there, which is gardens where you can see kind of the Nagasaki skyline. I think there are more fun things to do in Nagasaki than go to the church museum, but I think it's still a really cool thing if you're into that.
Yeah. What about the next one, Matthew?
Speaking of church museums, I put this here to represent Amakusa. Amakusa is an area in Kumamoto that I think is underrated. Surprise, surprise.
Wow. I think that picture that you chose doesn't do it justice, because when I imagine Amakusa, there's a lot more like dolphins in my mind, you know, like beaches and water. I only actually ever went on our dolphin expedition.
Oh yeah,
I think that's all I ever did.
I went a few more times. I mean, great beaches. It's kind of hard to find good beaches in Japan outside of Okinawa or the smaller islands, and this is an island archipelago that branches off from the mainland of Kumamoto. And I wanted to put it in underrated because it's a great like day trip. You go from island to island, you island hop. There's bridges, but there's amazing seafood and kind of cool things to do.
I would love to lead that off into the area between Ehime and Hiroshima, and that area is also an archipelago of islands in Shikoku, which is the smallest of Japan's. Well, not Okinawa. Well, wait, Honshu. Is it smaller than?
It's the
smallest, right?
Yeah.
That area is very fun. The only downside is you have to drive through it, and there's a lot of toll roads. So every of those big bridges maybe costs between like $30 and $60, like just to get through. I remember driving for like 20 minutes and paying $60, which is kind of crazy because typically Japan is very affordable. But this place was actually one of my favorite places in Japan. I think the combination of like water and like the ocean, like rivers and the mountains coming just directly out of the water, along with just all the bridges connecting the islands, I think it's underrated, to be honest. I don't think many people can go through here because you would have to put aside like a few days basically to drive through it.
It's not impossible for you to rent a car in Japan. I've done it. It's actually pretty cheap. However, the tolls are kind of a limiting factor. So if you're nearby Hiroshima on a trip and you want to go see like nature rather than city, go to these islands. Do you remember what they're called?
I'm doing so bad with names today. Oh, wait, I searched it right before this. Nope, no history. All right, well,
maybe I'll put it in
here. Kick off the next one. I'll find it.
Well, since we are in Hiroshima, we have to talk about the A-bomb dome and the Hiroshima Peace Park that has been built around the epicenter of the nuclear warhead that was detonated above Hiroshima at the end of World War II. This is, I'm going to sound like a tourism advertisement just because I think it's the best way to say it. It is a grim reminder of the power and destruction of a nuclear warhead. And it is very impactful to go to. And it serves as a reminder of what the use of these weapons can do. When I went there, I saw protests for certain other causes that were trying to make their voices heard at this site. It's not like loud protests or anything, but like people with flyers and signs like, hey, look about this cause, or like, what about this cause? So I think it serves probably to the Japanese people as like a message of, what can happen if there is no peace, in a way. Very emotionally taxing. And I think a lot of people make it out there, so I think it's pretty well deserved for how popular it is.
Yeah, I think you summed it up very nicely. I also was very moved going through the museum. I very unfortunately got like sick though that day, and so I only made it through maybe about half of it before I left, but it was very moving. And I think just the contrast of that standalone building like surrounded by like a fully like recovered city, right? Where everything else is just like normal, but there's the one building that they left as the like historical landmark. So I think that is pretty well deserved. I did find the name of the area. It's called the Sentonokai National Park is what it's called. But there's a lot of islands between it, starting with the Onomichi Bridge and leading all the way down to the Kurushima Kaikyo Bridge. So there's a series of like islands connecting all of these locations. I actually went all the way from the Naruto Bridge, which we're going to actually cover next, all the way from Tokushima to Ehime and all the way up. So the Naruto Bashi, not from the anime,
Kakashi
is actually very cool. It's a huge bridge that connects Shikoku and like I want to say like Osaka area. Maybe not quite Osaka, a little bit below that. But the cool thing about the Naruto Bashi is they call it Naruto because Naruto is a fish cake in Japan, which is like the circular one. It's usually like pink with the white swirl. And beneath the bridge, you can see all of these swirls because there's like two oceans colliding, or at least one ocean and like a river or something. I don't remember exactly, but you can see all of these individual like water currents below the bridge. So you can walk underneath the bridge. It's like a glass bottom bridge beneath all of the cars and kind of see that. I think not many people go there, but I don't think it's underrated. I think it's cool, but so I'm between deserved and pretty good.
So I got a few things for you there. First of all, Naruto just means whirlpool.
I thought it was the fish cake.
I think they call the fish cakes Naruto
because of whirlpool?
Whirlpools, yeah.
My mind is blown.
2, this place is like overrated.
What?
Okay, it's the longest bridge in Japan. That is really cool. Did you went outside and you walked around?
Yeah, I walked below it. There's a whole
I didn't do that.
There's a whole walkway beneath the bridge. That's how you're supposed to see the Narutos.
Okay, so you saw Naruto's toes.
I saw so many Narutos.
Okay, I can't attest to this.
It's not overrated by any means. The bridge is cool. It's very long.
I thought you were just talking about the bridge, and I'm like, I like the bridge. I think it's cool architecture, and I respect that.
No, because the water's very pretty.
Hundreds
underneath.
of thousands of people drive across this bridge all the time. I don't think it can be underrated.
How many people are going to Shikoku?
I went to Shikoku.
Well,
that's a bad argument.
Good for you. Okay, we can go middle.
It's pretty good, man.
We can say pretty good. I think we go pretty good.
Okay. And lastly for Hiroshima.
Yeah.
Ike, you said you went to Miyajima?
I have never been there.
Well, I've never been there.
It's Itsukushima is the name of that one. The Itsukushima Jinja. Wait. Yeah, I've never been there.
I've never been here either, and we're getting confused about what it exactly is.
That's the one right next to Hiroshima, though.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Yeah. We'll skip it.
It's probably deserved. I don't know.
We have to go. Let's put it in the middle. Let's put it in the middle.
Yeah, it's pretty good, guys. I saw it from a distance. I want to tell you that I didn't go on the island. I didn't take the ferry.
Okay, more experience than
cool. I. So we're saving the best for last here. Absolute top peak for last, and you can't go anywhere in Japan without a view of Mount Fuji. Now, I included Mount Fuji on here not as the sight line attraction, as in, oh, I'm on the bullet train. Look at it's Mount Fuji out the side of my window. But rather the geographical phenomenon that is Mount Fuji and the ecotourism would be ecotourism if you're going to see the mountain. That goes along with it, especially when it comes to hiking. I'm not going to tell my hiking stories for Mount Fuji here. That would take way too long. We got to kind of wrap it up here. But I think Mount Fuji is fantastic, and it is certainly well-deserved.
Okay. On my bucket list, I do really want to climb Mount Fuji. I never had the chance. Well, I did have the chance, except the weather was horrendous, and it was not the best time or season to go. But I will, at some point in my life, I really do want to climb it.
I think go when the weather's good, so you don't have a near-death experience like I did. So just have that experience. I think is definitely well-deserved. It's incredible that something like that mountain exists and kind of puts its, mark in a culture as the place. in
I
Japanese
mean,
culture. I don't know.
the next also just going right off Mount Fuji is Hakone area in Japan.
So we actually have 2 here from the Hakone area.
Yeah. So what is the first one then? Is it just the...
The first one is kind of the general area of Hakone.
Yeah.
I think it's underrated.
Really? I think Hakone is very... It was nice for me. I really enjoyed all the hot spring. The village, the town I was in was cool.
Yeah.
You do get some really nice views of Mount Fuji. I did go on like a boat trip as well, as in that picture. I think we could say underrated though. Yeah.
You're not as jazzed as the fact that you got to ride a pirate ship as I am. Obviously not. We hold these 2 things in different value states in our own minds. I loved my pirate ship rides that I went on. I also went to the Hakone Sulfur Depository Geological Museum. It was awesome. Learned about volcanoes.
Wow.
There's a big lake up in the mountains. It's really hard to get to. Rent a car and go up there. Seriously, you can take public transportation, but rent a car and go up there. It's much more worth it. And then the Hakone Sculpture Park.
That's a weird place.
I say it's fine.
You can look up some more pictures of it.
It's great if you like sculpture parks, which I do, and I love them. I just found it to be not exactly what I wanted.
Yeah.
And kind of took a little bit out of the day when I was hoping to do some other things in the Hakone area.
For sure.
I liked it, but I wasn't, too overall stoked. Okay. I guess.
Yeah, I think it's fine is a good place for it on the list.
It's fine, Ike.
I'd love to wrap up our last
What
key
is that?
location. So the Me Pig Cafe.
What is this?
Is a chain of miniature pig kind of animal cafes. And Japan is very known for they have a lot of different like animal cafes, like cat cafes, dog cafes, even pig or owl or like snakes. Like they have a bunch of different things.
I hold on one second. I'm gonna stop you there. We selected this list of like the best Japan has to offer, and we're rating it on whether or not it's overrated or underrated. And you threw in a pig cafe for what reason?
So I was looking at a list of Japan's most popular locations. And for some reason, the Meat Pig Cafe showed up not once, but twice on this top, 30 list. And so I had to add it because I have been.
And what did you
was
think?
Actually... So our past, one of the past podcasts, we had Ray on in episode maybe 3 or 4, and she was the one that was so enthralled by the miniature pigs. She wanted to go so badly. And so we went in Osaka. We spent a whole day to get there. We had to get a reservation just to spend the time. We had our own pen with these 2 pigs, and they were disgusting. Not only did they squeal when you tried to pick them up, as pigs do, you could not control these beasts because they would walk between our laps. They would bite your fingers. They were just so, there was nothing you could do. It was actually funny because there were 2 pigs and they stayed hip to hip, and they would walk and sit in each of our laps. And then once they got tired of us, they would leave. But if you tried to move the pig off your lap, they would start squealing and biting. And
oh my gosh,
overrated for sure.
Overrated. Yeah, I'm comfortable with that. I did not get the chance to go to any animal cafes, but I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I don't know if I support that. Unless it's like a collective that, raises the kittens and then you can take it home and foster them.
I did not have a good experience with the dog cafe that I went to, but I do enjoy cat cafes because the cats do feel a little bit more at home with that environment. Sure. I'll say
There are some ethical dilemmas about having a business where people come to see kind of exotic animals in a indoor setting.
Yeah.
So,
I'll have to save the dog cafe stories for another episode, but the meat pig cafe was definitely overrated.
Definitely overrated. Okay, Ike, seeing as how long are we on this podcast?
We're a little over.
Hour 20? Mon Dieu. Oh my gosh. Tiana. We better wrap this up. So let's go through one last time, starting from underrated to overrated.
I have a great idea, Matthew.
Okay.
I would love to hear your most overrated and most underrated location on this list.
Such a good idea, Ike. Thank you. My most underrated on the list got to be Hakone. I've been saying it. Wow. I've been telling you.
Yeah.
Even more than my biased Kumamoto perspective. I got Kumamon on my wall, okay? I loved Hakone. The onsens. The pirate ships. Okay? Don't tell me you don't want to ride on a freaking pirate ship. And it's a day's trip away from Tokyo, even if you rent a car. It's a beautiful drive. Go do it. That's underrated. My most overrated spot
is?
I think it has to be the Karinami. I forgot the name. The Kaminarimon Gate. It's Sensoji Temple. I think Sensoji Temple's really overrated.
Yeah.
I think all of Sensoji Temple is really overrated. So crowded. And by the time it's not crowded, everything's closed.
Yeah, I would agree. For me, right, I'll list my least favorite and most favorite, or most recommended, I'll say.
Sure.
My least recommended is the bamboo forest. I think that location was just so boring. Like, it was not special to me. The pictures weren't very nice. Like you said earlier, like, I could walk through a forest that had some bamboo in it, and I would feel like it was the same experience. I did not enjoy that. My most underrated, one of my favorite places in Japan, and I'll just call this Imabari, which is that like Setonokai like island chain, because looking up that's a huge area between like kind of around Hiroshima and Ehime area, but the closest like kind of larger city connected to Shikoku is Imabari. So we'll say Imabari, but to me that landscape was like my favorite place in all of Japan. I think driving through there was awesome. I went on some hikes up mountains there. Just seeing all the water and mountains collided was amazing for me.
Okay.
So
good. Hey, we got our opinions out into the world forever to stay set in stone. Any final thoughts?
No, I think once again, if you like this type of structure, we will have a guest on next week. And until then, I hope you guys enjoyed.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening, watching. Please be sure to subscribe and follow us on Spotify if that's a thing that you are so inclined to do. Also, we have an Instagram account that we just started. You can take a look at our links in the description. We'll have it all down there. Thank you very much, guys. Peace out, and warm some desks.
See you.
Warm some desks.